Okay, we're live.
All right. Well, welcome to Brandeis University's annual hackathon, Dice Hacks. And I'm here in the library on campus. Here, I can go to my backdrop. So this is a hackathon that is sponsored by the Brandeis International Business School in collaboration with a lot of partners, including I have to shout out Pega Systems, who's funding all our prizes. They're our only corporate engaged sponsor. And the point of this is a hackathon for social good. So we have a 48-hour challenge. It goes from Friday night until Sunday night. We're in Saturday afternoon, so we're about halfway through. And the magic of our local hackathon is rather than working on an abstract challenge, we work on the problems of nonprofits from our local community and a couple global ones, including e-NABLE. And the magic of this hackathon is that I teach a class built by Professor Gene Miller that I've been stewarding for a little over a year now, where we place students on the boards of this year 14 local companies and global companies, and they have non-voting board seat where they understand the challenges of that company and they bring them to our hackathon as one of their projects. So they're placed in September and they stay on that company until May. And then part of their job is to make these pain points for our hackathon. So an example, we have our board fellow Yeon on the e-NABLE board, who's been going to the town meetings and working with me and talked to John and Jeremy about some of the pain points. And we applied through Lumio for one of the grants. And there's sort of two projects that each student does. They do a board level project like that grant funded project to rebuild the 3D print exchange on the NIH's 3D print exchange like device catalog. So to move e-NABLE's device catalog from the hub to the NIH 3D exchange with better metadata inserting and sorting. Separately, they bring pain points to today, and they then implement any of the hacks built. And we've got a bunch of different challenges. So I think the magic of our hackathon is rather than abstract problems or technology-focused problems, it's anything you can apply design to move the needle for one of these companies. And then the magic is the implementation. It's not just a flash in the pan. It doesn't go away on Sunday. Then this board fellow goes and implements that project for the organization. And I can give you a quick walkthrough. Oh, and we've got a drone saying hi to us. So right now, all these teams are scattered around the building and the campus hard at work. We've got about 85, 90 people in the room I'm in here. And this is the university's living room in the library. So during study time, these are all packed. Today we're closed off and teams are all sequestered around the building. And you'll see a lot of people with our t-shirts, and some of us have a role that we've stenciled in the Maker Lab. So our Maker Lab is right here. We have the Asper Center snack table sponsored by the Asper Center for Entrepreneurship. They've been providing snacks throughout. They'll give a talk later. And our Maker Lab is any good living room needs a garage. So our maker space is right here. And I know the Brandeis Robotics Club is about to go to see, you're going to an event across town with one of our nonprofit partners.
This is true. The Charles River Museum hosts an event once or twice a year for robot combat. It's like BattleBots. They have them fight each other.
And that's going on right now, right? They're paused at lunch.
Yep, it's at the lunch. Yeah, we're gonna head over in a couple. Yeah, I think they do. I think they stream it on, they call it mass destruction because Massachusetts.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's, I think it's going on now. Yeah, other than that, we're in here talking. We have
Catching up.
some alumni who came here as well, and then some current students. And hopefully future member of the Robotics Club.
Actually,
Some recruitment going on. Super cool. Well, definitely check that out. Can they see that on Charles River's Instagram? Probably.
I think it's streaming.
I think it's, if you look up mass destruction, like robotics
Cool.
or something.
I'll point out the company here. So the company that they're talking about is the Charles River Museum of Industry and Innovation. Ariel is our board fellow. And here's their mission. So they are a museum of the Industrial Revolution. Waltham is known as Watch City, where there were the factories that made the watches for the Union Army during the American Civil War. And they have a lot of the equipment that made those watches and that led to the textile mill revolution in New England. Mr. Moody was a machinist, and their site was the R&D site of the American Industrial Revolution, where they figured out how to take cotton and turn it into cloth. And they have a lot of the history of the automated loom and a lot of the materials. They're actually in the factory that did that then Francis Cabot Lowell built a business model around. And it spread all over to Lowell, Massachusetts, and all over the eastern seaboard. All of those brick buildings that are mills are based on the model that was researched right there. So they've got the watch stuff and the textile mill stuff. And they have a new makerspace funded by BC under Michael Barnett. That's a super cool makerspace. And we have a makerspace, so we want to work with them around that as well. And each board fellow has a mentor. The Charles River Museum mentor is also excellent. Stephen Guerrero is an alum who did a master's here and has done some archaeology work and taught high school. And now he's mentoring one of our students to do education programming with that cultural historical museum lens. Abby is one of our student workers. Abby, what are you doing here?
Final cut? Actually, final cutting, but so can we industrialize off my t-shirt?
Super cool. So we bought these stock t-shirts, and then based on people's roles, they can get a custom letter transfer. And Abby's helping with all those designs. Ooh, super cool. You got all these different colors. Very cool. And we also do all the signs around the building. But the heat press vinyl has gotten really popular. The designs are looking awesome. So this room is our 3D printing lab. Our prosthesis club is also our e-NABLE chapter. They have their gear up here too. But there's a team working separately on challenges for the org that I'll take you down to. Thank you. So
That was great. Thank you.
yeah. So that's sort of like the character of the event. And then the teams are upstairs and downstairs all spread out. Hello. Would you mind mentioning which org you're working for? Project Insulin. What do they do?
Nonprofit trying to make a generic drug for generic version of insulin so that patients don't have to pay as much out of pocket.
And what are you working on?
Right now, we're basically working with this. Right now, we're trying to create kind of like their product design right now. We create these little things at the Maker Lab that says Project Insulin. We're gonna make a box almost as if the customer is getting the box just literally at their home or going to the pharmacy.
Oh, super cool. So packaging.
Yes, sir.
Very cool. Marketing, packaging, product design. We've got teams set up all around. And I'm going to take you down to the e-NABLE team. Thank you. So up here, we've got the maker space. Some people working on physical designs, our wall of pain points. Down here, we've got our check-in table, where Erica, our head project manager, is hard at work with some designs. Richard, one of our board fellows, is sketching out something for the Loop Lab. Can't wait to see where this goes. So people come in, they check in, they register for the event, and then they find all their pain points. There's a Starbucks here that's open during the weekdays, but we're serving coffee over there. And then we had a little mixer where the board fellows also set up here, talked about which companies they're working for, what kind of solutions you could build for. Sarah, I know you mentioned you're missing the snow. This is our big sledding hill on campus.
Oh my goodness, that looks like so much fun.
We had some snow a couple days ago, but we're running out. And I'm going to take you to the e-NABLE group now. So we're in the library. This is a 300,000 square foot building with over 3 million books. And we can also fabricate up to 3/4 inch aluminum in the building. And we have about 100 fabrication machines, 3D printers, laser cutters, CNC machines. Oh, and I'm going to come over to the e-NABLE table. Hello, welcome to the e-NABLE education meetup. So do you want to say a couple words about what you're developing for e-NABLE?
Sure. So Alana's currently working on writing some code for us to update and reprocess all of the metadata on e-NABLE's site so that way we can add more data, restructure it, organize it, and then eventually she'll be turning that into an Excel sheet for a demo.
I see you're working on some slides too.
Yep, so we got some slides here. We're gonna be using Prezi
Oh,
because
very nice.
Prezi is a lot of fun. You can hop all around when you use it.
Cool.
Um,
That
then
looks
finally,
great.
we're also working on some generative AI
Super
um,
cool.
applications.
And what are your majors? Are you computer science majors or all computer science majors? Cool. Well, thank you so much. I can't wait to see. We'll have a product gallery where everyone can see all the projects that come out of this. We have our board fellow here, Ewan. Thank you so much. So Ewan is sort of the project manager behind these challenges. You want to say a little bit about how you found your team? How's your weekend been?
Yeah, I mean, they're great team members and then they just come up with their own ideas and stuff, and I'm here to support them.
Yes,
Yeah.
super exciting. And then this project will live on and be implemented because of our excellent board fellow.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, John.
Hi, John.
Lola. Hi there.
Morning. We're just doing a tour of the event. We've got it recording.
Oh, I don't know.
Hi, would you like to mention what project you're doing? We're doing a live stream.
We're working on.
Which company are you working for? Charles River
Charles
Museum?
River-
Cool.
No, Charles River Community.
Oh, the
Health.
community health.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay,
that's
the
what we're
hospital.
working on, Yeah,
Cool. So what are you building?
so we're trying to find solutions to some of their pain points, like staffs not staying for long.
Yes, the
Yeah.
staff retention issue is huge.
Yeah, so they also have bilingual and translation issues. So those are some of the
Cool.
pain points that we're trying to solve.
Excellent. Well, good luck. I can't wait to see what you build. We'll share the project gallery with them at the end of it.
Thank you.
And what hospital is that?
Charles River Community Health is a community health organization hospital right
Cool.
in Waltham.
Cool.
So I'm happy to take any questions to John or Jane or Sarah. I'm going to go back upstairs to where we started.
Well,
and
as a
we'll go back to the
latecomer,
pain points.
I am vaguely remembering that you have a social enterprise hackathon going on at Brandeis.
Exactly. And this is the magic, the wall of pain points. So
Oh,
we have
cool.
14 organizations, including e-NABLE, and each organization has a student that joined the board or the leader governance structure of that org in September. They stay through May. They get 2 credits in the fall, 2 credits in the spring. This class was built
Cool.
by Professor Gene Miller at the business school, and I've been stewarding it for just over a year now. This is my first full cohort, and we place students with a mentor from each of these organizations.
Very good.
Enable. So, and then students get to pick what they work on. So last night at opening ceremonies, we had 113 people in the room. Now we have about 85 to 90 here right now. We think we'll hit about 150 people over the course of the weekend. So we're trying to
Cool.
channel their energy from across the institution to focus on pain points from these organizations. And so you can build anything you can apply design to. It doesn't have to be software, but it could also be a workshop pedagogy or physical space design or an event design, sometimes the business process. So really anything. They often have a
Great.
digital or physical component, but they don't have to.
And the obviously e-NABLE is a particular interest in this case. I came in just as you were finishing with our guy, right?
Yes. So they're working on refining the metadata schema for the 3D print exchange. So they
Yeah.
don't have to. So the board fellows have sort of 2 big projects. One is being a project manager for the hackathon. The other is a longer term project from September through May. Now, Yeyuan happens to be building out the NIH's 3D print exchange, and his team here is helping him with that. He leveraged his team well. You don't have to. They could do different things, and it all depends on who shows up.
Understood. You know, I'm in 2 weeks. I'm going to Uganda, where there is a World Action Fund, which does both in disability support and ecosystem restoration.
Oh, wow.
And late in the game, I'm trying to figure out, you know, if there's some synergy here that I can develop. So I just mentioned that in case it resonates with anything any of your fellows are into.
Well, I think there's definitely everyone wants jobs in CSR. It's become like a very hot topic. I think we're
Interesting.
two trends in the last year have been a very data driven, very data analytics driven career mindset, and everyone wants something to repair the world in some way. From our engineering group to our
Sure.
business group to our humanities to our sciences. And so you are right in the middle of a bunch of interesting things.
But this hackathon has already, the twig is already bent. So there's nothing I'm
Yes.
going to do in the next
No, but
48
we're in a good
hours.
moment to start thinking about if you want to have e-NABLE come back for next year's cohort, if Eco Restoration would like to be a part of it, or this Uganda org. We want organizations that have a mentor that they can spend time with. So e-NABLE made sense because they can go to the town hall meetings and meet you and Jeremy, and I know just enough to be dangerous and help them navigate the
Sure,
org
sure.
in the middle. But if we could find a mentor who could spend time with the student, I think the magic is they have to understand enough about the organization to make an impact.
Right, right. All right, I'll give it some thought. In any case, didn't mean to hijack your tour. You were going upstairs, or you're there now?
So I'm upstairs now, and so you've been up here. This is where the Maker Lab is, and we started just peeking in the Maker Lab.
Got it.
And we're halfway through our event. So it started Friday night. It'll go through Sunday night. We'll announce the winners
Cool.
tomorrow. Hosted by the business school, funded by Pega Systems, big software company in Waltham, Massachusetts.
Nice.
And you've been in here, John.
I have.
So yeah, trying to target all our tools to do something worthwhile, make some change in the world, which I think now students are hungrier for than ever.
I assume you don't have a fixed agenda, so you don't mind chatting about
No,
loose
so
associations.
Sarah and I were talking, we wanted to do a tour. I think we finished
Sure.
that, so we can
That's
chat
great.
about anything.
Well, as you know, I am working on a project in Panama these days, and I have not found a real-time translator for Zoom meetings. What I have found, which is curious, I mean, you can pay to have a live interpreter, but Google Translate on the iPhone is really quite
It's
good.
very good, yes.
But it doesn't quite, there's no bridge between that and Zoom. Now, it occurred to me yesterday, in case this is just an example of a hack that someone could do, that if you were to put a mirror in front of the iPhone, you would then be able to see the real-time translation. And if that same iPhone were on Zoom, it might then be able to be offering a real-time translation. I'm defining a problem and giving a possible solution, but it would need some tinkering. But it's a fun little project.
No, that's it. I'm sure there's excellent translation APIs, but there's not like the Zoom one isn't quite fast enough to give you a conversational experience.
Strangely enough, and I'm sure they will come out with it, but strangely enough, Zoom will give you captions without translation in a language of your choice for the whole group. Which is not very good, because you'll have some people who need Spanish, some people who need English, and so on. If you want, X to Y translation, there are add-on services where they have live translators.
Oh, and a human in the loop.
A human in the loop who you pay for. But Google Translate on the iPhone is really quite good, but the interfacing is not great. Now, it does occur to me that I could do something like this. Maybe that's the answer. That's why we have these conversations.
I've done that with international travel a lot, just using the Google Translate, like you said.
Clearly, I'm going to have to remove my background thing, but this actually might be a good solution if I had the right mount to hold Google Translate like that. All right. Thank you for the consult.
I've never played with the live translation aspect. We do a lot of captioning, but we don't do the multi-language translation.
Right. Well, all right. I've made a little progress on this concept just now.
Well, and one of these years, it would be great to have you or Sarah or Jeremy, if you're ever in the Boston area, you could come to one of these events, see what it's like. we could plan that ahead of time so we could bring some extra pain points.
Sure.
One of
Oh
the
yeah,
math-
I didn't mean to. That's
No,
right.
no,
I
like,
next
one of
year
the-
is indeed something worth talking about. Not this
Yeah.
moment, but it sounds like a good thing.
I also were always interested in field projects. You know, you've done a couple internship type field projects with the Heller School. You had interns in the past. That's always
Sure.
something we can always find a way to. Students are enthusiastic, and I think you have very meaningful challenges for them to work on.
Yeah. Here's another unsolved problem that your group might be able to get some insight into. As you well know, it has to do with shipping. So as you well know, we've got lots of volunteers who want to make devices. We have an under supply of recipients who want devices here. In some place like Uganda, it's exactly reversed.
I saw
Now
that
you
post
could put those
recently. They said they
together
had like
if
200
only,
recipients.
yeah. And that's who I'm going to be visiting in Uganda. But if someone, so the question is, what's the mechanism for shipping American printed devices to Uganda to get through customs and to get through borders and et cetera, et cetera? It's the world ought to have a solution to that problem. It doesn't. I would imagine that there are shippers who, with extra space in their containers, that could, at zero incremental expense, facilitate this kind of thing. But I have yet to find them. It's a good little puzzle project for someone who wants to solve a world problem.
Yeah, the disconnect from where maker spaces and schools are enthusiastic to make the stuff to where the recipients live is a big gap.
Yep. Well, it's good to see you.
Good
I
to
just
see
wanted to
you.
drop in.
Thanks for coming by. Have you met Greg? Maybe I can introduce you to Greg briefly. Greg is the head of the Maker Lab.
Sure.
So we have a model where there's one person in charge of each of our labs.
Great.
Greg's been stewarding the Maker Lab and has lowered the bar and raised the ceiling over the last couple years, and is doing some
Nice.
drone demos today.
What demos?
Drone, FPV.
Drone. Oh, cool. Absolutely.
Can
I
we
have a-
see a drone demo?
Oh, yeah, maybe take a drone
Yeah,
demo.
do you want to,
Hi, Sarah.
yeah, I can.
Hi.
You want to do the goggle and give me one? Maybe I can put it over
Yeah,
the
see if
camera.
see if that'll work.
So we have a simulator set up to get students trained up. We have a pretty good curriculum in getting FAA Part 107 licenses and European Union licenses. We send projects all over research. And then we also teach operations. through
Yeah.
simulator. And once they learn how to get a license first and get insurance and permits, then we teach operation, which is a separate skill. The licensing doesn't check if you know how to operate. So we have a whole unique curriculum we developed in-house in simulators to get students stick time so they can learn the skill. And then we move on to like tiny whoop, like the little FPV racers.
So this is the drone I'll fly.
Cute.
Without a battery, it's about 17 grams. Very, very small.
And we teach people to fly in goggles first and then by line
You
of sight.
gave me a demo when I visited you about a year ago. I
Yeah.
thought it was really cool.
So I wonder if I can get this close enough. Oh, I don't know if I can.
No, not really. For what it's worth, I just
I don't know.
was reminded that I have another meeting right now.
Okay, good to see you, John. Thanks for stopping by.
Well, my pleasure. And I'll point out that for Zoom, what you could do is have the computer that's driving the drone,
Oh,
join the Zoom meeting,
no, it's
and
all
then screen
analog.
share.
We're analog. This is a pirate television station.
But that doesn't show up on your computer. Yeah, I
we
get
have
it.
a USB
Okay.
dongle, but we don't have it here.
Got it. Okay.
It has this little screen.
I don't know
If you
where.
had it in the.
Might be
That's
in-
all right. It's just, you got me in a hack something up mood.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys later.
Good to see you, John.
Have fun.
Me too.
Bye, John.
Bye.
I'll just fly around a little.
Okay, well, we'll chase the robot. So there it is. So Greg is now having an out-of-body experience. So this is where I've spent the most time in VR. It's not VR or AR or mixed R, it's display VR. So he is in big R reality but in a different container than his human form. So he's looking out of that vehicle, giving me real-time inputs. And this stuff has gotten so good. We got into this in like 2014 where it was very DIY, and now the stuff is just so good. So what transmitter protocol are you using now?
ELRS.
ELRS. So long range, low latency, using the Radio Master Pocket, which is probably our recommended starter radio. What do those cost? 60, 80 bucks?
60 and then 20 for the batteries.
$60 for the controller, 20 for batteries, and then you can plug that in USB-C and buy a piece of software for about 20 bucks. There's a bunch of competitors. You can use DRL, you can use liftoff. We really like Velocidrone. It has the same variables you can tune in here that you set up on the actual robot. So if you plug that in USB, it's got software, and we got the same settings on this screen in the simulator that we would have on the real robot in USB. And we start there, and then mostly what our students use are like DJI products for survey. We do a lot of archaeological survey. But we like to teach this skill because it's sort of like learning how to drive a car manual, like learning stick shift before learning automatic transmission. And then when you're flying a multi-$1,000 robot, you are less likely to have a problem.
That is so cool.
$90 road.
Yes, well, almost in there.
Almost in the hair.
Excellent job. That was fun to watch.
Good.
Yeah, we also have, so we teach sort of 4 verticals in our team. Digital fabrication, 3D scanning, XR, and robotics. The drone stuff falls under the robot. Also the BattleBot stuff that our team over there does that we talked about earlier. We find that a lot of groups on campus want to do like the level 2 or the level 3 thing, right? They want to run an experiment in a research lab, or they want to teach how to use the data they get from a drone. But very few, there was no opportunity to like learn how to solder from scratch, or learn how to code in Arduino C for a beginner, or learn how to actually operate one of these. They want to work with the data or the applied version. So over the last decade, our team here at Brandeis has built those level 0 curriculum tools. And we've gone from supporting research to supporting student life to now we're in the classroom, and more our staff are either consulting with researchers or teachers to bring these technologies into their teaching, learning, or research. And e-NABLE is a big part of that. I like e-NABLE not just as a bias towards using your engineering skills for something positive, but also as an intro to open source hardware.
Thank you, Ian.
And we're happy to answer any questions. And Jane, if you have any questions, we're happy to chat. This is our 8th year running this particular hackathon. Our team has run, I don't know, 25 or 30 events like this over the years. And it took us a long time to figure out this model of having like students in class bring challenges that focus on local community partners. But I think it is a little unique, and it's less computer sciencey than a lot of these events.
Do you have a favorite project throughout the history of this event that you
Hard to
can take
pick
us
just
through
one.
from like idea through implementation?
There's one that I really liked because it's still going on. So I think 7 years ago, in the second Dice Hacks, maybe, there was a board fellow named Tristan Moore, who was on the board of a company called Boston Police Teen Academy. It was a summer program for kids at the Boston Police Academy. And he built this idea of a workshop where Brandeis student workers from the Maker Lab would go to the summer program and teach a day of STEM workshops. And they didn't have any STEM programming. They wanted to do hands-on stuff like how to fly a drone, how to use a printer. So students come and they give some slides and do some hands-on demos for a class of about 35 or 40 students. Daryl Owens was the director that welcomed us in. Tristan was on the board, built this as a template, and now we do it every summer. So this was the 6th summer in a row where they came here this time for the first time. We've been going to their site. They came here. A bunch of Boston police officers brought the Teen Academy through. We did a day of design thinking, ideation, and tours. We often now do a thing where people, like especially high school level, will like scan their own head and then build it into a shape. sometimes do something on a screen, sometimes do something with digital fabrication, but taking a shape that's hard to draw, like your own head, making a statue or a cup holder, something like pull a tissue out. And that's been super cool because now those students have gone on to college. We got a bunch of students every year to consider careers in STEM that they didn't think they saw themselves in, that now they see themselves in. And now we've had students coming to Dice Hacks from other schools in the Boston area to now work for nonprofits who came out of that program. So I think that's one of the most full circle things that we've seen come out of this.
That's really, really cool. I hope that one of these days I can come and see it firsthand.
It's cool. The energy in the room
Yeah.
is good,
Yeah.
and we've learned a lot over the years. So the other thing that if anyone's watching this later on the recording, we love to help other schools figure out programmatically how to build things like this because it's very local culture. Like there's not one size fits all. Got to sort of like follow the dreams of your community and like map the tools and have a value prop for the students and the companies. But we'd love to consult if anyone ever wants to email me about how to do a hackathon that can make impact. I think the goal, the design goals for me and my team is like show students that you don't have to choose between making an impact and making money. You can both have a really great career and make a positive impact on the world. And that came out of Professor Jean Miller. She was really, her and I co-founded this event 8 years ago. And we've learned a lot over running this for 8 years.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, this has been a great tour. And yeah, I hope that people can watch it later, and I'm glad that we have this. So thank you, Ian.
Yeah, and anyone that ever wants to chat or come visit our maker stuff, you can always email me, ianroy@brandeis.edu, and we can find a time.
Well, I definitely want to come visit, so. Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to add before we?
That was really it. Jane, happy to answer any questions, but otherwise good to have this on the record. And we'll be
Yeah.
back next year with a whole another group of nonprofits.
Okay.